Well, I think you've seen a lot of my new films, and they're not at all like that. That was one of the first larger films I did. And it did play in over 50 festivals worldwide. It got a bunch of awards, and that stuff was written up in the Times and Time Out in New York and things like that. But from watching it now, if I was redoing that today, it would be completely, absolutely different.
I actually had one question I was thinking of before you got into, before you walked up there, which was, what was one thing you learned about women from making this film?
Well, I think it was really interesting that how much they actually are kind of boxed into a corner back then in that time period. For the women rock and that sort of punk rock scene, if you've gone to any punk rock shows, you would see that it's predominantly male, white male, and young. And these were like women who were starting to then break into that sort of rock scene. So, Noreen actually found a lot of the band, so it was like every time I'd meet a new band and I'd see them, it'd be a lot of times it'd be the first time I'd actually see the acts. So I learned a lot about each band and each thing through doing the film. Yes.
And just to elaborate on that question, how did you feel about the two women who were saying that they didn't really feel that they'd ever been treated differently? The skinhead.
Skinhead women.
Skinhead. I don't
Women of the skinheadism.
I don't mean to make them that, but.
Those girls I actually grew up with in the District of Columbia. I was part of the punk rock scene in DC, and I knew a lot of the people in all the different factions, and I knew those two girls growing up. And they would say they weren't feminist, but they did get in a lot of fights and a lot of things with a lot of guys, and were definitely in the position of you treat me equally or I'm going to bash you in the face. So I don't really see how they can say they're not feminist, because they're more of the feminist in the physical reaction where they would not take any crap from anyone.